the hell, guys? What the hell? I'm being driven out. I'm being dispossessed from my own country, like no less than the Aborigines, right? I'm having to flee, right? So open up the immigration. You embrace multiculturalism, and now a fair dinkum Anglo-Aussie is being forced to flee. Like, I have a God-given right to sit at that seat and live stream, and even here, a block away, I'm running away from the effects of multiculturalism, right? I just want a little peace and quiet. That's all I want. I'm a very respectable man. Yeah, this is how I hate to hate my monkeypox, but then I choose to love them. So this is how the Cronulla riot started. Someone was just like innocently trying to live stream, and he got driven out by this music from a foreign culture. Now, what the hell? Like, the beach is the Australian cathedral, right? So just imagine you go to church, right? Just imagine you go to church and you're sitting down and you're trying to have a nice, quiet, one-on-one chat with Jesus. You're trying to just gather with your fellow Christians. You're just trying to do the Christian thing. You want to sing Amazing Grace, and a mighty fortress is our God. And when I perceive the cross and all that stuff, and then someone comes in and starts blaring rap music. Yeah, where that music is playing, teachers are getting shot by students. Right? This is our cathedral. This is our Australian cathedral. And then all this music from another continent is being blared. Well, I am dropping like pearls of wisdom. Right? Just absolutely pearls of wisdom. That's what I'm doing here. Like, I am changing people's lives. Like, from this live stream, people are going to start keeping Shabbos. Right? From this live stream, people are going to start keeping kosher. From this live stream, people are going to start keeping the laws of Taharat Mishpacha, right? The laws of family purity. People are finding recovery from this live stream. People are finding God through this live stream. People are finding identity and community and human connection through this live stream. Like, we are changing the course of Western civilization one lengthy conversation at a time, and then we get dispossessed from our own homeland. Like, that was my homeland. That was my cathedral. And I got dispossessed. I got driven out. I'm now a Palestinian of the soul. Right? Now I know how the Palestinians felt. Right? Just imagine you're a Palestinian, you've been living in the land, your ancestors have been living in the land for hundreds and hundreds of years, and then, someone comes in and drives you out. Right? And these people playing the music, they didn't do anything hostile to me. Right? They didn't directly threaten me. They just made it impossible for me to live my life. Right? I am a form of life. All right? And my environment where I can thrive was destroyed. Right? It was like the eucalyptus question. Right? It's like a eucalyptus tree suddenly starts emitting all these compounds that kill, all other forms of life, plant life underneath it. I mean, music is violence. That was violent terrorism. Not just words of violence, but music is violence. Music from an alien culture, like, they're being hegemonic. Like, I'm over here, like, I've moved a block away, and I'm still being assaulted. I'm being orally raped again and again and again and again. And I'm saying, no, I do not consent to this. I'm saying, stop the violence. Stop the rape. Stop the crazy. It's not okay. Quit. Stop. Don't. There's no consent here. Like, did they ask me for my consent when they started playing this? As they started turning up the volume, notch by notch, did they come up and say, is this okay with you? No, they just imposed their hegemonic discourse on me. And all I'm trying to do is talk to the retarded about God. I am trying to minister to God's kids here, right? Talking to people, about matters of life and death. And my aura now, the whole color of my aura has changed. My ears have been raped. My soul has been raped. I've been driven from my place in the universe. And do I complain? Like, do I, file some formal complaint? Do I initiate litigation? No. I'm like the strong silent type. Words don't come easy to me. Do you realize how difficult it is for me to live stream, being the strong silent type who, just accepts the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune without protest? Just here I am, just keeping a stiff upper lip, and now I'm trying to just use words because my people have been dispossessed from our community, and we've been driven into the diaspora, and now we're sitting on the shores of Coogee, and we're weeping for our Jerusalem. Remember how good we had it over there? Remember those good times that we shared? Remember that human connection? I mean, there were just so many highlights. We really built something. We built a virtual temple of love and inclusion in which we could sacrifice and worship our God, over there, over at that bench. But now we've been driven out, and it's not about me. I don't care about me. All right? I am pointless. I am not the point here. Here's the point. It wasn't just me who was dispossessed from my land. It wasn't just our temple that was destroyed, right? It wasn't just our community that was driven out, but God, the master of the universe, the creator of the universe, the one true transcendent God who gave us his will at Mount Sinai 3,200 years ago. God was driven out of that community. And you know what happens to a community when God is driven out? I'm a man of few words. I'm the strong silent type. When God is driven out, bad things happen. And now, there's no God at that bench where I was sitting. They're just pagans and heathens, the godless, the enemies of God, right? The enemies of God have now possessed a substantial section of this Coogee Beach Park. Now, God's chosen people have been dispossessed from this Coogee Park, and now the enemies of God are in control. And you know what happens when the enemies of God are in control? Terrible things, like moral anarchy is absolutely loosed on the land right now. And things are just going to start falling apart. All right? So now there is this beach that is this horrible beast who is slouching towards Jerusalem. I mean, surely this is just another sign of the apocalypse. It's not about me, guys. It's about God. Like, God was driven from his holy place right there. Like, we were connecting to God there, right? We really had something going. We were storming the heavens. Like, we were reaching out for the transcendent. Like, we were making ourselves into the vessels for the one true holy God. Right? We could feel a spiritual power moving between us. Maybe we should pray for God, because God has been driven out from his holy place by the enemies of God. Now the enemies are in control. And you think that the Coogee Beach is just going to stay, sweet and nice and law-abiding now that God has been removed from his throne? Right? See what happens when you mock God, you sinners, you desecrators of the one true faith. You're enemies of God's chosen people. A lot of people are saying that, I'm like God's servant. I mean, I'm not the only person who's said that, and people are just saying this, that 40, he's God's suffering servant, and I'm oppressed. I suffer. It's terrible what happens to me, and for me, I don't care, right? It's just not a big deal for me, because I'm kind of I'm kind of selfless. But I don't want you to fear, all right? Just because I have been driven out, all right, I'm going to make a place for you. I will draw you out of your sinful ways. I mean, let them oppress me. Let them orally rape me. But, do not be afraid. All right? Brooklyn judge accused of making racist and homophobic remarks resigns. Oy vey. Look, when you pass through the waters of Coogee, I will be with you. Right? When you pass through the Brisbane River, right, I will be with you. When you walk through the fire, I will be with you. Right? When you walk over the hot sand of Coogee Beach, you will not be burned. Right? Because you are precious and you are honored in my sight. I love you. I will give men in exchange for you. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bring your children from the east, and I will gather you from the west. I will say in the north, like North Sydney, get them up, and in the south, do not hold them back. I will say, bring my sons from afar, and my daughters from the ends of the earth. Everyone who calls my name, right? That's what I'm here for. And let them oppress me, let them orally rape me. I will make a way for us, right through the sea, through the waters, through the confusing world of live streaming. Forget those former things when we were living life there on that other bench before we were driven out, right? Do not dwell on the past, because I am doing a new thing now, right? Now something new is springing out. Do you not perceive it? Like, I am making a way for us in Coogee, right? I'm creating streams in the wasteland of YouTube, right? You may think that, social media is just, it's just a vast desert. But I am making a stream in the middle of the desert, right? I am making a streams in the virtual wasteland of YouTube. And eventually you'll find the wild animals of YouTube and social media, the jackals and the owls, right? Because I provide the stream, right? To give drink to you, my chosen, right? They're going to gather here. Okay, so how good is your gaydar? Like, if someone's in the chat, can you tell whether or not they're gay? In the desert, on a horse with no name. So is there a difference in the chat pattern between someone who's gay, someone who's bisexual, someone who's married, right? Dennis Prager would often tell, very quickly when he gets a caller on his radio show, very quickly, very accurately, he can detect who's married and who's not, because married men have far more responsibilities. They have to take life far more seriously. They're not just operating for themselves. And so, can you tell, just from the chat, who's married, who's single, who's straight, who's bi, who's gay? I'm just asking. I'm not saying anything, I'm just asking. Okay, so what's the difference between lecturing your audience and talking with your audience? So I remember I once, asked this woman who I was seeing if she noticed any major personality differences between myself and my father, and she said, yeah, he's not as pompous. I thought that was really hurtful and really accurate. Like, I have this very easy tendency to pomposity, And I don't like pompous Luke. I prefer like humble, approachable Luke. So let me tell you a story from media class in high school, 10th grade class or high school. So I was giving a presentation, and I was doing a report on football games that weekend, and I'd really worked hard. I'd typed up 25 pages of notes, and I delivered this hardcore information pack 50-minute show, and everyone in the class just tuned out within a minute. Like, I lost the whole class. They just absolutely hated it. Then other times when I do some presentation in media class, I had their attention the whole way. So I often try to figure out what was the difference between when I hold people's attention and when I lose it very quickly. And the difference is, I finally learned, is, are you taking other people into account? Right? Are you allowing their reactions to affect you? And then there's some kind of rhythm going on. So are you just treating your audience like a proper British lady who just lies there and doesn't move? So Lord Curzon told his American wife, who was a little moving too much, he instructed her, ladies never move. All right, so sometimes I treat my audience like a British lady who never moves, and it's just me, doing all the work on top of them. But that's not really how live streaming should be. Like, live streaming, there should be a rhythm. Like, I should be thrusting forward with a point, and you should be absorbing my point, and then you should be thrusting with a point, and then I should be accepting your point and then thrusting back with my point. There should be a rhythm. We should be rocking back and forth. That's a live stream. Victorian physicians asserted that ladies never move. Well, that was certainly Lord Curzon's opinion, and Lord Curzon, Curzon, was a very wise man. I think he was like dictator of India for a while. So who the hell are we to disagree with Lord Curzon? But anyway, I don't like it when I treat my audience as though they should not move. This non-Nazi sexually. I wasn't talking. That wasn't about sex, bro. That was a metaphor for communication, right? It's like the Song of Songs, Shir Shirim. That's not about sex. That's about the love between God and Israel. I don't know why you thought that was so sexual. There was nothing sexual about what I was just saying. So anyway, I don't like it when I become pompous. So I was trying to figure out today, what's the difference between lecturing and talking? Because a lot of people get turned off when I come on here and I start lecturing people about how to live their lives. Yeah, I meant thrusting rhetorically. I didn't mean thrusting with my pelvis. I didn't mean thrusting with little Luke. I was talking rhetorical thrusts. I was talking spiritual thrusting. I'm liking Luke's moving violation. Guys, I'm talking spiritual thrusting, guys. I'm talking about spiritual intercourse, not carnal, worldly, fleshly intercourse of the devil. Now, I'm talking about two souls. Right now, we've got 9 souls communing as one, but there's nothing sexual about what's going on here. Right? This is like God's love for Israel. I mean, I would like to think that I am reflecting, God's love for Israel to you, and you are all spiritual Israel. Like, even if you're retarded, right? Even if you're a non-Jew, a Gentile with just one soul, right? I am forming you into a spiritual Israel. Yeah, I'm just talking agape thrusting, all right? Agape thrusting is not sexual, right? It's not cruel and lustful and selfish. It's other-directed, right? So I guess the difference between lecturing and talking is when you're talking, you're other-directed. So when you're lecturing, you're just thinking about what you want. So I had a girlfriend who said, I can always tell when you're about to climax because you abandon all concern with my pleasure and you just start thrusting as deep and hard as you can. So that's not me, and that's not these live streams. Like, I'm not here to thrust into you as deep and hard as I can. Like, I am taking into account what you need, right? I'm taking into account what's going on with you. I'm taking into account your individual sensibility, and I'm taking into account, what you like, what you want to hear, right? So that's what makes this, talking rather than lecturing. Like, I'm responding to you, you're responding to me, we're responding to each other. Now we're elevating this discussion to higher and higher realms. Like, we're just moving higher and higher madrigas. Right? That's what's happening here. So I don't want to be pompous 40 anymore. I just want to be a man of the people, and just talking to the people. I'm just talking to you on your level, right? I'm not just talking to you on my level. I'm bringing it down. I'm bringing the fires of heaven. I'm bringing the truths of heaven. I'm bringing it down here to Coogee Beach and just speaking in the language of man. Oh man, phone is hot. Screen brightness will be reduced. Okay, I've got to cool down this phone, man. It's burning up here. Is it something I'm saying? Is it something that I'm saying right now that is making this phone so doggone hot? Is it the content? Is it the spiritual intensity? Bloody hell, I'm just trying to do some live streaming. I'm just trying to talk to the retarded about God, and they're dimming. Luke just wants to do what needs doing. They're dimming my bloody phone. The globalists are dimming my bloody phone right now because they claim that my phone is too hot. But you and I know there's nothing too hot about my phone, right? It's just the globalists trying to restrict me from my free speech, my God-given, First Amendment granted all-American right to free speech, and the bloody globalists say, oh, your phone is too hot. They're trying to turn my phone gay, right? They're saying, oh, it's too hetero here. We have to turn down the brightness. 40 is just too intensely hetero. We're going to stop messing with this phone, with this screen. But I'm going to keep battling for you. Luke's verbal rant is the final thrust for the orgasm ending of this live stream. Luke always leaves abruptly. I always need a cigarette after my live streams. What can I say? I just need to catch my breath. All right, so I'm not coming here from high. Now, I'm not talking down at you. I mean, yeah, literally I'm talking down at you. And I'm only literally talking down at you because the globalists are forcing me to talk down. Like, this is a very unflattering angle for my face. Like, this makes me look really jowly, right? That I'm willing to have an unflattering angle for my face because I don't talk down to you. Like, literally, but not spiritually. I'm not spiritually talking down to you. Like, if I talk down to you, then that would be lecturing. But I'm not lecturing you. I'm not treating you like a completely passive British lady. Like, I'm not coming from on high right now. I mean, literally I'm coming from on high, but I'm not spiritually coming from on high. Like, yeah, literally I'm above you right now, but spiritually, I'm not above you. Like, I'm not here telling you what to do, right? We are here together telling, each other our experience, strength, and hope. Bloody globalists heating up my phone just when the live stream's getting good. Like, talking is when you're in dialogue. I'd like to think that we've got something dialogical operating here, right? This isn't just some rando lecturing, right? Also, the bar is a lot higher if you're going to bloody lecture. Like, people expect, higher quality content if you're going to start lecturing them. So I think I'm more at ease with the old, give and take. I'd like to think that what we've got going here is mutual. I'd like to think that you're not just, lying back, just passively absorbing what I have to say, but instead, you're participating in this. We're having an I-thou relationship. This isn't an I-it relationship. This isn't, oh, yeah, 40, you could do this. I'm not really into it, but I'm just going to let you do this because I feel bad when you're just live streaming to 3 people. So I'm just going to be here, but I'm not actually going to say anything. I'm not actually going to do anything. You can just do your thing, 40, and, maybe you'll feel better. No, that's not what's going on right now. So I'm just here sharing my experience, strength, and hope. letting you know about the stupid mistakes that I've made, and telling you about my struggles when people from a different continent start taking over the park, blasting music which will give me copyright violations. So talking is when you're in dialogue with your audience. I made these notes. When you anticipate objections or perceptions from your audience and you take them into account. Like, okay, you're probably thinking, how on earth did I end up here right now? Where did I go wrong in my life? What bad decision did I make that led me to being in this live stream right now? Or you're probably saying to yourself, 40 is a pufter, right? So that's where I anticipate what you're thinking. I am seeing and feeling things from your perspective, and I'm taking you into account. So you may be thinking, oh, why the bloody hell am I watching this stream? What horrible sins did I commit in a past life that doomed me to be here? Where did my life start going wrong? Golly, I probably wouldn't be here if I weren't so depressed. Gosh, I probably wouldn't be here if I was still on my medication. So I took this 6-month, I think $2,500 weekly class on how to create a one-man play. And my teacher, Terry Silverman, my writing teacher, she talked to me about the importance of connecting to your audience. So you note their reactions and you react back to their reactions. And this creates fusion. All right? So fission is where you split up molecules, like where you create radical hatred and exclusion. But this show is all about the bloody fusion, mate, because we are combining molecules. Your molecules and my molecules are combining here, and that is fusion, right? You bring molecules together to create energy, right? So we're not doing the whole fission splitting thing. We're doing the whole fusion creating energy thing. So that big thing in the news about they discovered fusion where they're able to unleash more energy than they brought to the party, well, that's kind of what we're doing here. Right? We're releasing more energy than we brought to this party. Oh, so you're probably wondering about family. Right? Family never wants you to change, right? So yeah, this is the fusion of radical love and inclusion. This is not a fission of radical hatred and exclusion. So let's say you want to radically change, right? Your family's not going to like that. Usually, Luke loves his audience like he loves women. We're his replacement for his addictions. Luke should start a 12-step group for live streamers. I have transcended lust, bro. I'm now living the lust-free life. I just opened up so much room in my heart, in my soul, in my brain, in my time, in my finances, in my living and loving and embracing by just letting go of the selfish, lustful impulse and replacing it with, loving fusion. No, family never wants you to change, usually in ways that they don't expect. So someone close to me is making a fairly radical change in his life and his family's not too happy, right? You can never expect family to be happy when you radically change in ways they can't anticipate, because then family starts thinking they never knew you, or even your friends start thinking, I never really knew him. I can't believe he's going to, shave his head and go be a Buddhist monk, right? And that disturbs them. And then they have to reassess their own hold on reality and their own choices. And so when you make a radical change that your family doesn't agree with, that's going to be challenging. But you can make a radical change that is a maladaptive flight from reality or an adaptation to reality, right? So you can do things that are completely unprecedented for you, that people would never expect you to do, all right? And that could be a disaster, could absolutely be a disaster, right? You could be in a maladaptive flight from reality, or you could get strength, you could get passion, you could get drive, you could get new connections, right? You could, make more money, you could feel happier, you could join new communities. So sometimes when we make that radical change that alienates our family and our friends and confuses and disturbs them, and they all push back against you, it's like, why are you doing this? This isn't who you are. This doesn't make common sense. All right? And sometimes they're right. Sometimes you're engaged in a maladaptive flight from reality. Other times you're creating something beautiful, like this live stream. You are creating, a fusion reaction. You're bringing people together. You're, making new connections. You are seeing new horizons. You are fording every stream. You are crossing every mountain, following your bliss. So how do you know what's a maladaptive flight from reality or something new and exciting and healthy and adaptive? Well, the more adaptive thing will help you feel more integrated. It'll help you feel stronger, more excited, more passion in your life, more intensity, right? And you might start connecting with good people, and you might start sleeping better at night, and your life might start improving. On the other hand, if you start disintegrating, you start withdrawing, if you start feeling more and more isolated, then you're probably on a bad path, and you're probably engaged in something maladaptive and removed from reality. Live streamers are dopamine dealers, right? That's what we've got going on here. Right? I'm dealing out the dopamine. You're dealing the dopamine back to me. We're all taking a great hit from the spiritual crack pipe right now. Right? I took a good lengthy hit from the spiritual crack pipe before starting this stream. Charlotte Rampling and Dirk Douglas are in a movie about Nazi addiction. Oh yeah. So we're all taking the spiritual crack right now. And live streamers are dopamine dealers. Right? You're getting a hit of dopamine from doing this live stream. I'm getting a hit of dopamine from doing this live stream. We're all dopamine up. And the successful live streamer releases more dopamine, both probably for himself and for his audience. And the live streamer who can't sustain an audience, right, that's because he's not unleashing sufficient dopamine, first of all, in himself, let alone in other people. You want some serotonin, but bro, I'm just a dopamine dealer. Right? This is not the place for serotonin. Right? You want serotonin, that's another live stream. This is the dopamine giving live stream. Bye-bye.